Hello there. Welcome back to Business Studies grade 11. Today we want to look at a paper one of November 2023. So very important. So this is a question that question paper that we are going to look at according to this video. This video which is our paper one, and we're going to look at the first question of that question paper. So going to our question. We are going to start on multiple choice, whereby we have got a question 1.1, and it reads that various options are provided as possible answers for the following questions. Choose the answer that is 1.1.1 to 1.1.5 in the answer book. Then we're given an example in terms of how you are supposed to present it in the answer book. Then on the first part of the question, it reads the impact of dash on businesses as a socio-economic issue may lead to employees having to repeat a work tasks. So basically, the question is asking on repeating a work task. In other words, it's redoing a task. So we are given various options that we're given there, which we need to go through and try to find the correct response. So the first one is saying ethical misconduct. B is saying economic crime. C, exhaustion of natural resources. D, lack of skills. So according to the response that we are getting there, it means the correct one becomes lack of skills. So remember, our question is saying the impact of debt on businesses is a socio-economic issue, may lead as a socio-economic issue may lead to employees having to repeat work. So we are saying if there is lack of skills, and that's where we can have such a situation whereby work has to be work has to be repeated, since obviously on the first attempt it won't be done properly due to lack of skills, and there's need to redo the work. So this is what we have in terms of 1.1.1. Going to the next part, 1.1.2, it reads Freedom Bank operates in the Dutch sector as they specialize in offering banking services. So the key term that we have there is banking services, and we are given A, primary, which is the primary sector, B, tertiary sector, and then C, we've got economic sector, D, secondary sector. But we know that in the tertiary sector, that's where we have the issue of offering of services. So basically, tertiary sector, it consists of the provision of services instead of end products. So we don't have end products, but we have services. In other words, we have the intangible that we have under tertiary sector. So they provide services which are intangible. So basically, that's what we. So we see that tertiary is the most appropriate, which is the correct one, which is our B. So moving on to the next part of the question, 1.1.3. Let's try to see what we have in terms of the next question, which is 1.1.3, which is saying the component of the marketing communication policy that is not paid for the business is known as. So we have got a key term that we have there again, which is saying marketing communication policy. So we know that the marketing communication policy, this is a set of guidelines that outlines how a company communicates with its customers. So guidelines that outlines how a business or a company communicates with its customers is what we call the marketing communication policy. And it is also an important part of a company's marketing strategy, and it helps to ensure that a company's communication is consistent across all channels. So basically, we have the basic in terms of our marketing communication policy. So the question is now saying that the component of the marketing communication policy that is not paid for the business is known as A, we've got publicity, B, we've got advertising, C, sales promotion, and D, personal selling. So you see that all of them that we have are from B to B, C, and D, they are paid for. The only one that is not paid for is publicity. So I remember publicity is as basically a way to gain public awareness for a product or service or even a company through media and other communication channels. So in that way, there's nothing that is paid for. So it is usual end, meaning it's not paid for, and happens when something about a business is considered worthy. So basically, that's what we have in terms of publicity. So we have no cash movement in terms of the process of publicity. So what A is the correct response that we have there. So moving on to the next question, which is going to be our 1.1.4. We have got a question that we have there, which is Fred uses use dash during production planning to work out the time needed for performing of each task in their production system. So we see that we've got also a term that we have in the phrasing of this question, which is we have the production system, and the question is saying Fred juices use dash during production system. So looking at the responses that we have there, we have planning, routing, scheduling, and record loading. So according to this one that we have, we're going to say that B becomes the correct one, which is saying Fred uses use the use routing during production planning to work out the time needed for performing of each task in their production system. So you've got routing. And a lot of that routing in the production planning, it is the first phase of production planning, and it involves deciding the sequence of operations and the path of a product from from raw materials to finished goods. So this is what we have in terms of routing in production planning. And we should also know that it is a crucial step in manufacturing that helps to reduce costs and lead times and thereby increase efficiency. So we are seeing that it is also a crucial step in the manufacturing and that help to reduce costs. So very important. So if you look at the explanation of 1.1.4, which is saying Fred use data during production planning to work out the time needed for performing each task in their production system, is exactly as what we were trying to point out in this explanation of routing in production planning. So having that, now we go to the next part of the question, which is 1.1.5, which is saying the purpose of A or N is to determine the candidate's suitability for a position based on their skill, experience, and qualification. And we've got induction program, employment contract, recruitment process, and interview. But we have got a key explanation that is there that we are determining the suitability for a position. So it means this person or this candidate is no longer at the workplace. We are in the process of trying to see if this candidate is suitable. So obviously, the correct answer that we are going to have there is going to be an interview. That's where we are going to do the selection process of ensuring the suitability for a position based on the skill, experience, and qualification. And you know that an interview is basically defined as a structured conversation where one person asks questions and another will be providing answers. So basically what we are saying is interviews can be used in many contexts. I would say that it can be used in many contexts. We can have a job interview. We can also have a news interview, or it can be a radio interview. So within the context of this, is you'd see that is going to be a job interview. So this is what we have. So we've got interview as the correct response that we have there, which is our D. So this marks the end of the last question that we have in terms of the multiple choice section. So we can move on and try to see what do we have in terms of the next section, which is going to be filling in, which is 1.2. So on 1.2, it reads, complete the following statements by using the word or words provided in the list below. Right? Only the word or words next to the question numbers, that is 1.2.12, 1.2.5 in the answer. So we're given terms that we're given there, which is psychographics, full, external, go slow, intermediaries and demographics, strike, internal, no, and suppliers. So we're going to pick these words and fill in the sentences that we're given below. So 1.2.1, statistics of the population such as gender, age, race, and level of education is known as. So you'd see that this is obviously, according to the responses that we have, there is demographics. This is the one that explains that. So we have got demographics. So here we're just going to say demographics. Then on the next part, 1.2.2, cable logistics has dash control over the economic environment. So let's start by trying to understand what we mean by economic environment. But we know that economic environment is a combination of external economic factors that impact on the business performance and the consumers buying habits. So the economic environment, basically what we are saying is a combination of different economic factors, and these factors should impact the business performance and also the impact on consumers buying habits. So we go to our responses that we are given there and try to see what answer can fill in a saying cable logistics as dash control over the economic environment. But you'll see that these factors that we are talking about, that are the external factors, can be on large scale or can be on a small scale. That is a large scale we're talking about from a macro point of view, and a smaller scale can be on a micro point of view. And they are often beyond the company's control. That's a very key now. They are beyond the company's control, that makes us have the response that we've got no here, and now we've got Cape Logistics has no control over the economic environment. So here we are saying no is the correct fill in that we have there. Then 1.2.3, employees if participate in a dash when they deliberately delayed their productivity at work. Basically, there's a delay in the production there that is being highlighted there. But if you go to our responses, we've got a clear response that we have there, which is saying a go slow. So here we have got go slow. So moving on to the question 1.4. 1.2.4 is saying the middlemen that act as negotiators between producers and the consumer are known as, obviously. This is also clear. We go to our answer section, but we are having a term that we are having there, which is intermediary. So intermediary becomes the correct word that we are going to use there. So we are saying we have intermediary as the middleman. Intermediary is going to be the response that we have. Right, I'm moving on to the next one, 1.2.5, say flow trading used dash recruitment when it advertising the vacancy of store manager in the local newspaper. So the key term that we have there is that we have got the local newspaper being used to advertise. So basically, according to now, it means we are sourcing this from outside. So we come there and see, according to the responses that we are having there, so that we've got external representing the appropriate way that we can fill in there. So we have got external. So we are saying the flow trading used external recruitment with advertising the vacancy of store manager in the local newspaper. So we got external. So this becomes the last question that we have on this section. So we try to go again to the next section, which is now on matching words. So it reads, I choose a description from column B that matches the term in column A, write only the letter A to J next to the question numbers. That's 1.3.1 to 1.3.5 in example. For example, we are given 1.3.6 K as the way that we are going to present in the answer book. So we go to our question part now. We go column A and column B. So we are going to pick a term. We got a term that we have here, and then we pick the explanation that matches the term that we have there. But we got customers as our first term. Customers as our first term. And we go there to try to see which one does fit which explanation does fit customers. Try to go down, trying to see if we have got any other term, any other expression that fits that. And we was an extension of that of section of the column B. Here we try to see. But if you go here D is the most appropriate, which is saying the component of the market environment. The components of the market environment. So we also have a term that might need an explanation in terms of a market environment. So you would see that a market environment, it includes every element that may affect its ability to connect with customers. I mean, the ability of the business. In other words, we are just saying it includes every element that affects the business ability to connect with its customers. So basically, customers becomes a component of the market environment according to this explanation. So we have got D matching the first term that we have there. So this is what we have. So moving on to the second one, is 1.3.2. So I'm moving on to the second part. We've got difficult employees, and we try to see explanation that's matching difficult employees. But we know that difficult employees are, whenever we are having a difficult employee, we have someone who does not act in a professional or responsible manner. So in that way, I would say we've got a difficult employee. The behavior can be harmful to the business or to the other workmates or the business at large. So this is what we have in terms of such an employer, which is obviously going to negatively affect the operations of the business in terms of the productivity, even of that worker in particular. So according to the responses that we have there, we can try to see what response do matches that. So we can go down trying to search which explanation are we having, which is matching that. But if you go to J, say employees that often complain about work systems. So obviously, this is not a good behavior at workplace. So this becomes a difficult employee. So we've got J as the appropriate match that we have there. Here we are saying J. Then you go to standardization. Also, standardization is a term. We understand it as the process of making something conform or match to a standard. So this is a standardization in a basic description. So going to a column B to try to see what exactly does it make there in terms of the explanation that we are giving. We can just try to start from the start going down, trying to check any explanation which do matches standardization. So if you come here, you go to I, saying the process of ensuring that all goods produced are of equal quality. Remember, we defined it as the process of making something conform to a standard. So it's being we are making sure that the goods that we produce matches the quality that we need. So this is I, which is matching the term that we are having there is standardization. So here we are saying I is the response. So now we have got corrective action. Corrective action, but corrective action is a process to identify or address or resolve issues or problems in a business or operational setting. So when we are trying to address certain issues so that we resolve certain situations, we are calling it a corrective action. So we are trying to go to the column B to see what explanation do matches that. So if you go up there, if you go to B, say involves any adjustments made to the planning process. So those adjustments are the corrective process that are taking place. So we have got B is the correct term that we have. Then with 1.3.5, which is placement. So placement, in general, we are saying is the act of planning someone, advised to someone or something somewhere fit. So we are trying to place the act of placing something or someone its position that is fit, that is placement. So we try to go and see again which explanation does make that. So if we start from the beginning, trying to set going down, but if you go to see saying the new employee skills are made to the requirements of the position. So basically, this describes job placement, but obviously it falls under the bracket of placements. So we are having C as the correct answer that we have there. So we have got C as the correct answer that we have. So going there, you see that this becomes the last section that we have on section A, and it represents our question 1 of this question paper, which is the paper 1 of November 2023. Please let's subscribe and share to our channel. Let's share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 11 business studies. More typical examination questions are going to be uploaded on this channel. Let's get notified of new uploads. As for this video, I'm signing out. Let's meet again in the next video.